Racial discrimination and bias, they're not isolated incidents, they're built up over time. When I was hired as a border services officer, I was excited to put the training that I received into practice. I did notice that there were no other Black workers specifically around, and very few racialized workers. I think out of 250 officers, there were maybe 6 racialized, 1 being Black, who was myself. I really loved my job, but there were times that I didn't necessarily feel safe or supported as a Black woman in the workplace. I can remember the very first time being on a shift, seeing a truck come through to my booth with a huge Confederate flag draped behind the driver and being called names, derogatory names. It impacts you because when it happens in the moment, you really don't have time to react before the next truck or the next car comes through, and you kind of just have to sit with that. I had applied to a human resources role with another department/agency. One morning after a night shift, I got home. My phone rang. It was about 8:30 in the morning. The person asked to speak with me, and I said speaking, and they asked if I applied to a human resources role, and I said yes. And they said, before we get started with the conversation, I just wanted to ask what cultural or ethnic background you belong to. I'm gonna amount it to being young and a little naive at the time. I didn't think anything was wrong with the question. And I said Black. And the next thing I heard was dial tone. And they never called back. As Black workers and as racialized workers speak about equity, it's because we're looking at fairness. It's about being treated fairly and with the same level of dignity, recognition, and respect as everyone else. The human rights complaint stemmed from a Black class action lawsuit on behalf of Black workers in the federal public service who had experienced discrimination, harassment, among a lack of promotion opportunities, access to mentorship and training. Instead of Black workers feeling that they have to raise concerns, it felt more like a collective push towards accountability and justice. The union has given me and other Black and racialized workers space to speak up and be heard, right? And there's more awareness with respects to racism and discrimination in the workplace. That can really help when we connect with non-racialized members who become aware of our experiences and they want to help support us. It's very comforting when we all come together in solidarity to push forward for systemic change. Hearing the experiences of other union activists makes you realize that you're not necessarily alone in this fight, and it gives you a bit more courage to speak up. Racial discrimination and bias, harassment deserves to be acknowledged, investigated, and addressed in order to bring about meaningful change within the federal public service for Black workers. And that's really where we kind of saw the shift take place, is instead of feeling isolated, there's solidarity with the union in taking the individual experiences and turning them into collective action. Knowing that you don't have to navigate that by yourself, it makes it easier, I feel, for not only myself, but other Black workers who may want to speak up, knowing that they have the full support of the union and the solidarity. Change happens when we bring our voices forward, and I do believe that when other workers can see their union siblings bringing their voice forward and having the courage to take that step towards justice, that it can inspire others to do the same thing. To me, We Fight for Justice means showing up as your whole self in different spaces. We don't, as Black workers, have to be isolated. when we experience discrimination, racism, bias in the workplace. If one person experiences discrimination, then it becomes a collective issue for our union to act, and that we can use our voices, our experiences, and utilize the union to push for systems that are fair for everyone. Hopefully, discussions like these will be a thing of the past, where they don't feel like they're necessary because systems will have changed eventually.